pod bay doors, please, Hal.
We have to go to a party tonight.
What?
Let's go to Nick's party.
Are you kidding? No, no way.
Amy, we only have one night left to have studied and partied in high school. Otherwise, we're just gonna be the girls that missed out. We haven't done anything. We haven't broken any rules.
Okay. We've broken a lot of rules. One, we have fake IDs.
Fake college IDs so we can get into their 24-hour library.
Name one person whose life was so much better because they broke a couple of rules.
Picasso.
He broke art rules. Name a person who broke a real rule.
Rosa Parks.
Name another
Susan B. Anthony.
God damn it.
The pod bay doors are open. Welcome once again. I'm your host, Jerry Dean Roberts of ArmchairCinema.com and OverThinkingOscar.wordpress.com. Here with my BFF co-host, the critic, dare I say legend, from TalkMovieMe.com, the one and only Mr. Doug Heller. How the heck are you today, sir?
Good morning, winner. Take a deep breath. Good. You're ready to dominate this day. You've worked harder than everyone, and that is why you're a champion. You understand that greatness takes sacrifice. Visualize what you still want to achieve. Stand atop the mountain of your success and look down at everyone who's ever doubted you. Fuck those losers. Fuck them in their stupid fucking faces.
So at this point, I'm supposed to take out my retainer. Welcome to Pride Month. Our first week of Pride Month. We're talking about Booksmart, directed by Olivia Wilde from last year. This was on my 10 best list.
It's such a great picture.
It is such a great movie. I don't get comedies like this all the time. I mean, I get okay comedies, but I don't get ones that those that are constantly
they
fun.
Don't make things like this all that often anymore.
Made by women.
Yeah.
Written by women, mm-hmm. Directed by a woman, and starring two very talented young women. Now let's talk, first of all, I forget how many Academy Awards this was nominated for.
Oh, let me look that up. It was nominated for...
How many? I think it was a record number. How many was that?
Zippity-doo.
None.
None.
Not a one.
Not a single one.
But hey, Ford v Ferrari, you know.
We don't need to get started on that. We've already talked about that one.
Yeah.
We've spent about as much time as that movie deserves. It's not a bad movie, but Booksmart is so much better. Booksmart was such a... It's so smart and inventive and fun and...
The filmmaking works.
Olivia Wilde's directorial debut.
Mm-hmm.
Of, I hope, like many films.
And like I said, this is the beginning of Pride Month. And this was my choice. Mm-hmm. We are... I'm going to tell you something. I don't generally like movies like this. I don't like high school party movies because usually they're very mean-spirited.
Mm.
This doesn't have a mean bone in its body.
It doesn't. I will freely admit that high school party comedies and college party comedies and all that kind of stuff I love them, and I don't have any reason why. I did not live that life when I was that age.
No, I didn't either.
I don't relate to it, but I have always been a sucker for, like, teen sex comedies. Always. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. But I still enjoy them.
Oh, I do too. And it's just very few of them work.
Well, very few of them work. This would be a stunning double bill with Superbad.
This is the spiritual cousin to Superbad.
Yeah, very much so.
And not just because it's Jonah Hill and Beanie Feldstein.
Right.
His brother and sister. I was impressed. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Like I just said, this was on my 10 best list. The first 10 minutes of this movie, I got irritated.
Really?
The first time I saw it, because I was thinking, well, once you get into the idea that this is movie world.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't happen in real life. This is completely within movie world. Kind of like Parasite.
Yeah.
It's like you enjoy watching it, but you know none of this could ever happen. Once I figured out what it was about and where it was going, I kind of settled into it.
This kind of hooked me right away. But again, I'm a sucker for these movies.
And I'm really impressed, and this is something that doesn't happen often. There's no villain in this movie.
No. Huh.
There isn't a mean, ugly, hateful person in this movie. And
There are some mean, ugly things said, but
there's some mean, ugly attitudes.
right. There's a reason for it. There's nobody is actively out to hurt people in this movie.
When they're because the story takes place in this high school on the very last day before graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 48 years old. I'm looking at these kids and I'm going, I don't recognize any of these kids. I don't recognize this world that they're living in, for good reason, because I graduated 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, I don't recognize the way they talk. I don't recognize the way they relate to each other. And I think that largely has to do with the fact this movie is absent of classes.
Yeah.
And I mean social classes.
Mm-hmm.
This movie does not have the rich popular girls or the geek squad or the jocks
Well,
and all of that.
They do, but they're not. They're more realistic. They're
Well, and
more
Olivia Wilde said
innovative.
she was really trying to break away from that and
Mm-hmm.
trying to mix all of those together so that you see that people are more than just this thing.
Right. And I think she does a great job of that.
She does.
It's very much. There's more crossover between the different cliques, and that's how I remember high school was. It wasn't just, these people only talked to these people, and didn't have anything to do with that.
It wasn't Mean Girls.
You're right. I remember many people from many different social stratas hanging out with each other.
Right.
And not to say that there weren't cliques of rich people and cliques of jocks, and I was in the band, so of course that was its own clique. But there wasn't any like prohibition in fraternizing with the other groups. And if you watch a 90s teen comedy, that's exactly how it looks. Like, one group of people has never ever spoken to this other group of people, and that's why this movie is so revelatory, because the geeky girl talks to the hunky quarterback or whatever.
Breakfast Club.
You're right. Ugh.
Well, you take the 5 class distinctions, you put them in a room together, and they realize that the problems are universal. It's a universal trope.
Yeah.
What I'm really interested in are these 2 girls, Molly and Amy.
Yeah.
Played by Beanie Feldstein and Caitlin Dever, who have been, typical of these movies, have been friends since they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever meets each other in high school. Did you ever notice that? In these movies, they've always been friends since like the 2nd grade.
Yeah.
They never meet like when high school starts.
No.
But the 2 of them are almost diametrically opposed in their goals.
Mm-hmm.
Molly is this overachiever whose her goal is the Supreme Court.
Right. She wants to be the youngest person ever nominated to the Supreme Court.
Right, and her spirit mother's are RBG
Mm-hmm.
and Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
And they're worse role models, trust me. Uh,
Hey, if that's who she's looking up to, I mean, that's a good
that's
place
pretty
to
good.
start. That's a good place to start.
But she has been, I mean, she is the straight A student, the model student, on her way to Yale. I love this. I'll be in New Haven next year. You're going to Yale, just say it. And the other is Amy,
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to be an Earth Mother type. I can tell. It's just it's in the genes. I mean, she's going to Botswana.
Right, to volunteer.
Right.
She is out.
Very out.
Yes, but never dated anybody.
Her character is the reason that I picked this for Pride Month, because, for a specific reason, I was impressed, and I haven't seen this in any other American comedy or American film. She is out, open, not hiding it in any way.
Mm-mm.
There's no dismissiveness of this at all.
No, it's just
No one. It's a thing.
it's just part of who she is.
It's just her.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the progressive idea that she is not hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
She's not, tucking this in the closet.
Right. This isn't a, this isn't Love, Simon. This isn't an outing picture or something like that. She's just she's comfortable with herself. She knows who she is. She's out. She's not trying to hide it from any single person, and that's just it.
And this is what I project that this will be in another decade.
I hope so.
I'm positive enough to think that it will be, because it's just a very unusual. Because I'm waiting for I'm all through the movie, I'm waiting for the nagging. I'm waiting for the negative to fall on it. It never does.
It never does.
It's just like in any other comedy when you have the guy who wants to go to the party and get laid.
Right.
And she fits into that mold.
Mm-hmm.
And this was always interesting to me, is that she's interested in this other girl named Ryan. She's
interested in a girl that looks like a female version of Arlo Guthrie.
Yes. Yes, she does. And I'm gonna and a girl that she clearly does not know.
Yeah.
And doesn't even know if she's gay.
Right.
She just I see this girl, I'm attracted to her, I like her, I'd like to get to know her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the movie ever gives her a reason to think that Ryan is gay.
But it also doesn't give her any reasons to not think.
Right.
Because there's some obvious, there is, to me at least, some obvious flirting or something that could be construed as flirting.
Mm.
She could just be nice and just like her, but
right.
I want to get to know this person. But maybe not.
Yeah.
Later on, you find out that she's at least bi.
Mm-hmm.
But
that is heartbreaking.
Oh, that their two crushes end up hooking up.
Yeah. But it's just interesting to me, because I was thinking about this, and this is really what grabbed me, was just the idea that her sexual orientation has become a social norm.
Mm-hmm.
It's so normal and so accepted that it's just part of anything else.
Mm-hmm.
A guy goes out with a girl goes out with a guy, a girl goes out with a girl, a guy goes out with a guy. It's not.
It just is.
There's another couple of characters in the film, supporting characters who are clearly gay, part of the art scene, and
The theater guys.
the theater guys.
Yeah.
And again, no negging.
No.
And also, no parents.
That's not true.
Except for Amy's parents.
We're apparently hyper-religious, but very supportive of
Extremely
of their daughter.
supportive.
We'll probably just do a Korean face mask. I don't need to know all the words.
Her parents are played beautifully by Will Forte and Lisa Kudrow. As these sweet but kind of doltish parents who just don't... My favorite scene in this movie is there's a whole thing with Molly's teddy bear.
It's a... Is it a teddy bear or a penguin or?
It's a panda.
It's a panda. Yeah, it's a stuffed panda.
Named Ling Ling. And I think Amy...
I remember Ling Ling the panda.
I think it's Amy latches on to the idea that Molly's been using this thing to masturbate.
No. Molly talks about Amy fingering another girl, and she said, "Just do it like you, but
the other way around,
the opposite." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't really do that." She's like, "Well, what do you do? Can you make yourself come with your mind? That is the one thing my mind cannot do." Just.
I love the language of this film.
Oh man. And then she's like, no, she humps a stuffed animal.
Yeah.
And the mom, Lisa Kudrow picking it up and kissing it.
Oh, I remember Ling Ling. She's rubbing it on her face.
Oh, please don't do that. Oh, please don't.
Oh, so don't do that.
Oh.
That...
There's a lot of stuff in here that...
A lot of stuff in here they usually reserve for guys.
Well, yeah, but you don't get this stuff with women. You don't. They usually try to really hold with 50 stereotypes and girls don't want sex and all this kind of stuff. This is not what they're going with reality here, and I love it.
It's the Hugh Hefner model. Nice girls like sex too.
Right. Yeah.
But the story is these two have spent their entire high school existence. The story is very threadbare. It's a very thin story description, and which is nice because the story is thin enough that it gets out of their way. Mm-hmm. There's no, we have to do this.
There's no real plot to get hung up on.
There's a plot, but it's really to hang all these episodic things on. But they've spent their entire high school existence minding their P's and Q's and not going to parties and spending all of it studying.
And then Molly finds out that you can have fun and get into a good school.
Because Molly has a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Because that scene in the... that scene where she's in the restroom and they start talking about her. I'm going to tell you something. I'm sitting there listening to this, and as they're talking, I don't know if you did this too, I'm waiting for the fat jokes.
Me too. And it never comes, and the two guys that are there are like, she's cute. Mm-hmm. I would totally... The one guy is like, I would fuck Molly. I'd just put a bag over her personality.
That's what he says, I would put a bag over her and I'm waiting for over her face. No, it's
personality.
Personality. And then she's not bothered by it because she comes out, she's like, you know what, you losers are going to go off to whatever failure you're you put yourself through. I'm going to be in Yale.
This girl's going to Yale. They're going to Georgetown, and
this kid's going to work at Google.
Yeah, she's like, but you failed 7th grade twice. He goes, rule of threes.
The look on her face.
She is mortified that she completely miscalculated, like, her entire youth.
And these seeming losers
Yeah.
who've partied all year, who've partied all through high school, are going to be in the same arena that she's in.
Right, because what was it? Gigi, she's like, where are you going to school? And she goes, don't judge me. It was my 5th choice. Harvard.
What were the other 4?
If that's not that, if that's
Cambridge
that low,
and Oxford?
it's not even your damn safety school. I mean, come on, like. And I just want to say, bringing Gigi up, Gigi is brilliantly played by Billy Lord, who is every fiber of her being is absolutely her mother's daughter.
Right.
She is. If this movie had somehow miraculously been made 40 years earlier,
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher would have been in the Gigi role.
Right.
Like 1,000%.
Well, let's face it. For most of her life, Carrie Fisher was
Gigi.
in the Gigi role.
Yeah.
But they decide that since it's the last night before graduation, they're going to go out and they're going to bust it all out like they should have been doing all along.
Right, they're going to have fun. They're going to make people see that they're actually fun. You know what I love about when they actually make it to the party, and I know I'm getting a little ahead, but when they actually make it to the party, most of the time when they have like the smart kids go to the party,
Mm-hmm.
they're ostracized. The cool kids don't want them there. What are you doing here? And they have to hide. They are welcomed with open arms and like, we have been trying to get you out for 4 years.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Superbad.
Please
Superbad
come
was an example
over
of that.
here and party with us. Yeah,
Superbad was like that.
exactly.
That was the one where they showed up at the party and they were not welcomed.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're open arms.
Yeah, they wanted them there.
Right.
Like a lot. Like,
And it turns out a
often.
guy that she had ostracized, a guy that she had looked down on, really likes her, Molly.
Right.
And it becomes kind of sweet.
Yeah, and the way when she finally lets go of her classist prejudice
Hmm.
or academic classist mentality, she realizes she actually does like this kid that was her vice president. He's a jock, so she just didn't pay any attention to him. She ended up having a crush on him.
Hmm.
Ugh. That was sad, but he
but
really
it's-
wanted her. It was his party, and he's like, "You came, yay!" You know,
They were happy that they're there.
yeah, ecstatic that they were there.
The trajectory of this film is they're trying to get there,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know where it is. And they don't know the address.
It's time for us to do what we do best. What's that? Motherfucking homework.
Backed by a brilliant soundtrack, by the way. What I love about this movie is the filmmaking is so great because they're never in the same location twice.
Yeah.
Except for when they come back home.
Mhm.
They're never in the same location twice. And something different happens every time they go to a different location. So it becomes very episodic, but in a good way.
In a very good way. I love it. They call a lift and they get
It's their principal.
yeah.
Can I just say, I'm just kind of shocked that as frank as these girls are about their sexuality and talking about sex, that they've never seen internet porn.
Oh no, but they had. At least Molly had.
Hmm.
Molly was
Because
making...
apparently Amy hasn't.
Well, she probably had. She just doesn't want to look at it. There's people like that that are just like, yeah, I don't. That's not really my thing.
Okay, as soon as we get the mechanics, we're turning it off.
Right.
You know.
We streamed a lot of porn. We watched a lot of porn.
They're sitting in the back seat of the lift, and they're watching porn on her tablet.
Like, hey, do you want music? Hey, let's just hook it onto yours. When she plugs in to charge it. The sounds that emanate.
Yeah. Because, well, the whole thing leads up because Amy wants her to understand what lesbian sex is. And she has to see it first.
Molly wants Amy to see.
Molly wants Amy to see it first. And the look on their faces while they're watching it.
I love they do that old like 80s sitcom where they'll see a picture and they'll like turn their heads around and say, I didn't know that a person could get into that position. It's like this old school seeing porn reaction in a very new wave porn is part of everybody's life kind of culture. It's like this wonderfully old-fashioned reaction to it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And the other one, was Jared, Gigi's sidekick.
Oh God, played by Skylar Gassendo, who is the creepiest guy. If this guy didn't, I swear, not to put labels at anybody, but this is the guy you would expect in middle age to be locking young girls in his basement. Going, hey, party with me. You know?
Well, the actor is from Florida, so I get where that vibe's coming from. Palm Beach County too, so it's not it's like
you
know.
But he's strange. He's like this, trying to be this party MC, but apparently doesn't have any friends.
Well, yeah, he's trying. What it looks like he's trying to do.
He's got a license plate that says "fuck boy."
Yeah. Jared is a person who... He is as if an alien landed, watched TV for 5 years and decided that that's what our culture was, so that's what he dresses up as.
And watch party movies.
Right, but it's out of date stuff. And so he's dressed like he was a rich kid in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he got all of his fashion tips from...
We're watching Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Yeah, or the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or something, like, you know, decked out with all the, like, and he's rich, so he's got all this money. Stupid rich. And, you know, he just doesn't seem to understand how to relate to people.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's why there's nobody there but Gigi.
Right, he tries to be this cool guy that he thinks he sees, you know, people acting like. He just doesn't understand that that's not what people want.
Right.
And Gigi sees him for the person he is, and he ends up being a very nice person.
Right. I mean, stupid rich. He has a party on a yacht.
Yeah. With nobody there.
And gift bags with your own iPad.
Yeah. Yeah. Like swag bags that, like, put the Oscar ones in running, you know? And basically, what is it? Molly just says, you're just trying too hard.
Yeah.
Just turn it down.
Mm-hmm.
man, Gigi is a great character.
Yeah, because she shows up on the yacht.
She shows up everywhere. Somehow before Molly and Amy somehow get there.
Yeah, she keeps showing up.
And she's just there, and she's there first. She's like, how do you keep doing that?
Oh, come on.
How did you get here? I don't know, same way you did. I guess.
And she's so spaced out.
How did you get here? You know?
But I love...
Brilliantly done.
Okay.
Oh.
We got to talk about the drug trip. If I were to talk to Olivia Wilde, I would say this is the scene everybody's going to remember. Because she gives them something.
She gives them strawberries laced in something. I think I think it's a hallucinogen, some kind of hallucinogen, psilocybin or something.
Because they end up at the party of the theater guys.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find out where Nick's party is, and they can't do it because everybody's in character.
Right. And they're trying. They've run into Gigi, and she's like, "Boy, I'm really surprised you're holding it together." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" It's like those strawberries that I gave you like an hour and a half ago.
They end up in his bedroom. They end up in his bedroom.
When they turn into Barbies, it's just... It's amazing.
That's not Barbie. That's like porn Barbie.
Yeah.
Because I think one of them is the farmer's daughter and the other one is the nurse, the sexy nurse.
Right, but they take the ridiculous...
I can't stand up, my boobs are too heavy.
they take the ridiculous proportions of a Barbie and blow them even further out of proportion.
Right.
And then when they take off their pants and they don't have genitals, and they're like all terrified.
I'm like a dolphin. No, don't get sucked into this.
There's so much that goes on in this. It's wildly imaginative.
Yes, it is.
Catelyn Deaver and Beanie Feldstein. I did not know Beanie Feldstein was Jonah Hill's sister. It totally makes sense.
The only time I had seen her before was in Lady Bird.
Oh yeah.
And she was very good. She didn't get a lot to do. But looking at her, I was like, okay, she's perfect as the side. She's probably going to spend most of her career as the sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
Not here.
No. No.
She's in the lead to a very destructive degree.
Yes.
Because, and I don't know if you ever went through this, but the idea that they are there's a dominant and a submissive to this friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've ever been in a friendship like this where someone else is kind of in the lead, so to speak. I went through this.
No, I was always the Molly.
Yeah. I was never the Molly.
I fully understand that I was the Molly.
And when you're the Amy, there's always going to be a breaking point.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get tired of being led around by the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of what it comes down to is when they come from when she gets to the party,
mm-hmm.
and she finally feels like she's connecting with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
They end up in the swimming pool, and she finds out that Ryan is either bisexual or straight.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks her heart.
She's making out with Nick.
Right.
Who Molly thought was flirting and vibing really hard with her.
Yeah.
And,
what I'm fascinated by with this scene is the way it's done, because they end up in a very crowded swimming pool. Mm-hmm. And she loses track of her. Mm-hmm. And Amy loses track of Ryan. And she sees all these people. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden kind of tracks to this person from the neck down. Mm-hmm. Who, brilliantly, by the way, they have put her in a swimsuit that no one else is wearing. Mm-hmm. So we know exactly who she is mm-hmm. when we see her.
Yeah.
And she goes up out of the water and she's making out with somebody. Now, this is what's brilliant. She gets out of the pool. She puts on her clothes and she walks. And the whole time she's walking, we can see her thinking.
Mm-hmm. I need to get Molly out of here before
right.
she sees this.
Right. There are no words.
No.
Other than she keeps asking where Molly is. Mm-hmm. And it's like this, when I was thinking back on it, because I said I'd put this on my 10 best list, this really is the reason why. Because it takes what is effectively a colorful, fun party movie, which it is, mm-hmm. and gives it a center of gravity.
It gives it weight. It
gives it weight.
There's definite there's definite gravitas, and this wouldn't work if we didn't believe these two actresses.
Right.
Just like in Superbad, if we did not believe Michael Cera and Jonah Hill, mm-hmm. Superbad would not have been the movie that it was.
Not at all.
In any way, shape, or form. It just happens that Seth Rogen and Evan Greens are very, very, very good writers.
Yeah. There were four women. There were 4 women writing this script.
Yeah.
And they did a fantastic job.
And they were not nominated for Best Original Screenplay for no goddamn reason whatsoever.
And he was nominated for anything.
Nothing. I mean, okay, I get maybe not the performances, sort of. I mean, I would have expected. I would have put Beanie Feldstein in probably at least a supporting actress.
Instead of Kathy Bates?
No, I would have put Jennifer Lopez in instead of Kathy Bates. Because she was the one who should have actually won.
Because Beanie Feldstein got nominated for Golden Globe.
Yeah.
But 4 women wrote this. And you can tell they're writing a lot of this from experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a script that, given to 4 men, they could not write.
No.
Because this is a movie specifically about young women.
And, you know, what I love about it is that it actively works to dispel the notions of, you know, smart kids don't swear and don't have sexual thoughts,
right.
And that young girls don't, you know, talk like that or have these feelings. No, they do.
Masturbate with teddy bear.
Do. Yeah, they do. Just like guys. It's like you know, this isn't Splendor in the Grass.
No.
You know, thankfully.
Mercifully.
Oh.
Splendor in the Grass is tough.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've seen it once, and I've seen bits and pieces of it other times. I can't watch that a second time.
I am absolutely convinced that Natalie Wood's character is gay. And the movie's just not saying it.
Shouldn't she be, though? Like, really, she should be, but, you know, it was 1956. But yeah, I love that they... And there's a lot of people that'll be like, oh, they just made them talk like guys. It's like, no, they made them talk like people, and we just associate this kind of language, this kind of speech with guys, because they keep
Girls
trying
don't usually
to,
talk about this.
right, they keep
or
trying to
seem-
push. Well, they don't. They've not been allowed to by the patriarchy.
Yeah.
This is a very anti-establishment, anti-patriarchy picture.
Hence, no Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
And largely because it was a comedy.
Yeah. That's it. It had two things going. It had three things working against it. One, it was made by women.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it was a comedy. And
Mm-hmm.
three, it was an actual frank depiction of reality
Right.
with women, and they don't. If
Frank
it's not,
depiction in the drama, not in
Yeah.
the comedy. The
Right.
comedy is heightened.
yeah, like
But it's interesting that if it's the connection that they have is so strong, they're having fun together
Mhm.
for most of the movie. But you can sense early on an undercurrent of a dominant in the relationship because I could never tell if Amy was like recently out, but you can tell Molly is always pushing
right. Well, Molly
forward.
Molly says you've been out for X amount of years. I think
Okay.
2 years or something, and you've never even kissed a girl.
Mm.
So I think she came out in their sophomore year of high school.
Well, they she's pushing her toward this, and it's always at all times it always feels like give her some space.
Mm-hmm.
Just as the omniscient observer, you're watching this going, give her some space.
Yeah, I mean Molly means well. She's very overbearing.
Yeah.
Um,
Supreme
and-
Court.
Yeah, and Amy's very docile,
Mhm.
and this dynamic has worked for them all these years, but that dynamic is not sustainable.
Yeah.
At all. Their fight is
Their fight is painful.
kind of amazing. Yeah, it's painful, but it's amazing.
First of all, it's in front of people.
Yeah.
Second of all,
I love
it's,
how nobody's paying attention and then everybody's paying
then
attention.
everybody's paying attention. It drops because she calls for an out,
Mhm.
which they call Malala.
Yeah.
And she calls in
Unconditional support.
yeah, Molly won't have it because Molly is close to being with Nick.
Mhm.
And it finally drops that Amy is not going to be at college with her. That she's decided to go for a year gap
Yeah.
to Botswana.
Now she was
And-
going to be spending the summer in Botswana.
Yeah,
and that
but she's
was,
spending
that
a
was
year.
known. But now she's like, no, I'm not coming back at the end of the summer. I'm going to stay there for a whole year. Oh.
Yeah.
And she was afraid to tell her best friend
Yeah.
that.
She was afraid to tell her because she was afraid that she would bully her into not doing that.
Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, and it's interesting because when you get down to that scene, you know that the movie has earned it.
Mhm.
You know that the movie has come down. You've spent 2 hours with these characters, and it's finally arrived here,
And
and it just makes sense.
the beautiful thing for me is, like, a lot of films will earn that moment,
Hmm.
but they will not earn the makeup moment.
Yeah,
This very much earns...
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
But this
Boom.
this one really does earn that come back together moment.
Mhm.
in ways that a lot of these kinds of pictures don't.
Yeah.
Because, and I keep talking about Superbad because Superbad was a very innovative one of these kinds of films. In
It
its
was
time back in 2007.
very 2007.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
This is very 2019.
yeah,
You'll come back to this in 5 years. You'll know when it was made.
yeah, but
I mean, I'm watching it in
There's-
2020, and I know that.
there's just because there are real characters at the heart of the movie,
Mhm.
they can have those fallouts and makeups, you know, and it feels right, it feels appropriate, it feels earned. Where so much of them is like, yeah, these two should not be friends at all.
No.
And them not being friends at this juncture is probably where they should be for the rest of their lives, because neither one of them works well for the other one.
Did
But
you get
these
the
two
feeling?
need each other.
Did you get the feeling that Molly is the reason she's out?
Yeah, yeah. Look, she's not that bold of a person, Amy.
Yeah.
So it's
You
very
get the
possible
feeling
that she was
You get the feeling that she's the reason.
encouraged,
Yeah, she was encouraged,
strongly encouraged,
bullied,
Yeah, well,
and she came out earlier than she probably was ready for it.
yeah, maybe.
Um,
But on the plus side, she was able to live in that and not be
not be so stressed about it.
right, and not have that the pressure of coming out she's older. You know, she's able to relax into this and be who she is by the time she gets to college, instead of trying to reformat herself in college.
I was amazed by the fact that when she first talks to Ryan, it is exactly how it is when you're in high school and you're interested in somebody and you talk to them for the first time. You've admired them from afar and you finally have a conversation with them. It's exactly how it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's awkward. It's cute. It's very spare. There's not a lot that's being said.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very, very sweet.
Yeah.
And that reality, I like that reality of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ryan was getting the vibe, because you don't really know much from Ryan.
No, but I don't know. She seems like it's probable that she just wants to hang out with her because she thinks she might be a cool person.
Right.
And she only ever was with Molly.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe it's that. Maybe she is interested. Maybe she doesn't know. She just wants to get to know Amy because she doesn't know her. Who knows? We don't know, because we blissfully are not taken away from Molly and Amy.
Right. They're in every scene in the movie.
Ever. So we're not burdened with other characters' motivations or anything.
But we are given the idea that all the characters, all the major players, are one level more than we would expect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's
Jared comes to realize that he's being a jerk.
Right.
That he's using his money and wealth and all of that to make friends, and it's not working.
Not working.
The AAA girl.
Yeah, AAA. I would have been kind of disappointed in this movie if it didn't take on slut shaming, and it
Yes.
and it does. It does
Yes.
in a beautiful kind. It actually lets the girl explain.
Yeah, it lets her have a moment.
Yeah, yeah, and when she's saying, you know, I just didn't expect the girls to call me AAA, as well. She's like, this is why they call me AAA, because I gave guys rides home. That's it. Oh, well, also, and I gave him a blowjob. But you hook up in a car, because what am I going to do with this in my house when my father could walk in? No. It's like, that makes sense. She goes, the girls all called me that. She says, Amy never did, and I am so very sorry.
Yeah. And the other side of that is Amy hooks up with Hope, who, in a lesser movie, Hope would have been the hateful monster.
Oh, yeah.
She's the outcast. She's the one that doesn't do the high school bullshit. She's the one that doesn't do the clicks. So she's on the outside, and she looks down at Amy.
Yeah.
Because after the whole incident, they end up in a bathroom together. And this scene is painful.
Oh, yeah.
Because all of a sudden, they start to make out. They're about to have sex. And she vomits on her.
Yeah.
It was just that was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's like it goes from bad to worse.
Yeah, very much so. But, and even that, she's like gets brought in, then they start to, there's a thing. And Molly and Jared. It was so sweet.
Yeah, again, he gets a chance to explain himself.
Yeah.
Because they could have made him a walking joke.
Yeah.
Which, if they'd have left him just on the yacht, that's what he would have been. But, and this is really when it turns into a party movie. The cops show up. I don't know who called the cops, but the cops show up. And
when Amy sacrifices herself,
she creates a distraction so everybody can leave, and she gets arrested.
Shotgun? No, I'm just kidding. I don't have one.
Oh, and we've also got to mention the pizza guy. Because that plays pivotally into this.
An amazing scene, and he's so right. Talking to them about this, and it ends up he is. I could have you across the state lines in 40 minutes, and I could hog tie you, leave you with a sauce or a milk, and just videotape the whole thing, and nobody'd ever find you.
Well, also we should explain this. When they're trying to find the address, they go to where the pizzas are being delivered. They go to a place called Lido's. And they go to where the pizzas are being delivered. They jump in the back seat of the delivery driver who's been going there all night. And they make masks out of their own hair. And the guy...
he just...
And all they want is the address.
Yeah, all they want is the address. And... He just starts like, wait, you got in here and you don't even have any weapons, and I could be a serial killer. I could just take you. I do have a weapon. And he shows them the gun, and you just were not. You were putting more effort into your hair masks than you were about actually thinking about the dangers that this could have.
No, what I love is, hey, you want me to drive you there? Yeah. No, I am not going to drive you there.
I'm not going to drive you there. You have not learned anything. Get out.
Well, Molly ends up getting Amy out of jail by turning the guy in because
he is a serial killer.
And when I said that this movie takes place in movie world, this graduation is it. Because there's not a single adult around.
No, there's not. But,
yeah.
who needs parents?
Yeah. It's adults. Kid world. Who needs adults?
Oh, God, I'm just like flipping through these quotes. It just, when Amy's got the mace, it's very important that you keep the safety on. Oh my, no! This wasn't on! Don't touch your eyes!
See, what was it? But
They spend every minute together. It's so weird. We spend every minute together. We're equals. Gigi just keeps Jared around for when she needs a liver. It's just...
probably just do a Korean face mask. I don't need to know
all the words. Can I get a what? What? Oh my God. Oh, I love this one little thing when they were just like, we're gonna go to this party. Molly's like, we haven't done anything. We haven't broken any rules. Amy, okay, we've broken a lot of rules. One, we have fake IDs. Molly, fake college IDs so we can get into their 24-hour library. Name one person whose life was so much better because they broke a couple of rules. Picasso. He broke art rules. Name a person who broke a real rule. Rosa Parks. Name another one. Susan B. Anthony. God damn it.
I'm incredible at hand jobs, but I got a 56 on my SATs.
1560 on the SATs. There's so much about this. It's a smart, fun, positive movie.
Mm-hmm.
That I'd like to say we just don't get any more, but we've never gotten things like this.
Right.
Like, this is totally unique and very original, and I really have to applaud Olivia Wilde for
oh yes.
Oh.
And these wonderful writers. I'm going to find their names because they are incredible. Let's see, where's this? Because I was looking at their Emily Halpern, Sarah Haskins, Susanna Fogel.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And I'm telling you, when you see a movie like this, it just makes you happy because it's like somebody can still write comedy.
Right.
That's not pandering.
Yeah.
And again, the reason that I picked this for Pride Month is because I was just taken aback by the idea that this movie does not trivialize or try to make her sexuality into a thing.
Right. It's not a joke. It's not a sticking point. It's not something that they're like, oh, let's just not talk about this. It's just
it's her.
Yeah.
And it's the person that she is, and nobody around her seems to see this as unusual or different. And again, as I said before, I hope within the next 5 years this is how it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not, people are not looking down the end of their noses at, you would hope.
Right.
I'm an optimist, But I can tell you that for the rest of the month, we're not going to be nearly as positive.
Next week we still are.
Next week is going to be positive, but
next week it's still yes, but the other ones we don't take. We start off on the bright side of pride and its evolution in the world, and we end on very unfortunate notes.
because you have to deal with two sides of the coin.
Absolutely.
Because next week is your choice.
Yes, Wonder Boys.
Curtis
Hanson.
I don't know about you, but I was completely dumbstruck when Michael Douglas did not get an Oscar nomination for this.
I was dumbstruck that this didn't get more than just the one Oscar nomination it got.
I was just I was absolutely
I don't
ready
under-
for him.
I don't understand why this did not. This and Almost Famous got shafted.
I was ready for him to win the Oscar
Yeah.
because this was his best performance in ages.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was
Oh yeah.
I was shocked by that. But
Great.
it's one
Great RDJ performance. Great
Tobey Maguire
performance. Just
Frances McDormand.
oh.
It's got one of those casts. It's got
John Boy
Yeah,
is
John
really
Boy.
good in it.
It's got one of those just billion-dollar casts.
Oh yeah.
And it's
With an Oscar-winning song by Bob Dylan.
by Bob Dylan. Yes, things have changed.
Great song.
And then after that, because I'm a masochist, I'm going to take Pride Month into the 1950s
Yay.
because we have to.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about 3 films, 2 of which I've chosen. The third is still up in the air. We're talking about Teen Sympathy, which is insane.
Yeah. I've never seen it, but reading the descriptions and I'm like, oh my. This
Our second film is a lot more humane. We're talking about Rebel Without a Cause. And the third I have not chosen yet. I have some ideas, but I haven't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah.
And finally, we're going to end...
Basil Jerdrin's Victim.
Oh, God.
Oof.
Oh.
I've only seen this once, and
It's a British drama called Victim.
oof.
Starring Dirk Bogarde as a lawyer who's about to be promoted. He's a barrister. He's a barrister. He's about to be promoted, and something about his past comes up, in that he had a relationship with another man, and very, very unusual for the time.
This is 1961.
1961, very unusual for the time in that it's treated as it was and as it happened, and also the idea that the gay character is played by a gay actor. That was very, very unusual.
Yes. And it was still illegal in United Kingdom at the time.
Starting off on a very happy note, and then
yeah, we really probably should have mixed these up a little bit, but
I jumped on Booksmart immediately. But anyway,
yeah. So that's what we've got coming up. Sounds like a lot of fun, and a lot of not fun.
But we try to talk about this from a lot of perspectives.
Right. We last year we took a dive into some trans issues and some a lot of different stuff we like to take up. Perception, like when we talked about the boys in the band, and
an interior look at the culture as it existed at the time.
In the early 70s. Yeah, so it's they're all important. We can't, focus on the look how bad gay people have been treated over the years, but you can't also, ignore the really cruel treatment. So,
So, this year we're trying to deal with the progress.
Yeah.
As well as the oppression.
What had to be progressed out of.
Right. We could have flipped it. We could have gone the other way and just kind of gone from the oppression into the progression. But I wanted to start on a happy note.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I have too. You can check us out. You can find all of our back episodes at the podbaydorspodcast.wordpress.com. You can find us on iTunes and YouTube. Find us on Twitter at pod_bay. Copy and paste that handle into Patreon, and that's where we are, pod_bay there too. We thank you so much for joining us, and the pod bay doors are now closed.
The mission has been completed.
Hey boy, what you say, boy? You tryna play coy like a game boy? Hit my phone, boy. Is your homeboy? Are you alone, boy? Come give me dome, boy. Got a boy with degrees, a boy in the streets, a boy on his knees, he a man in the sheets. Sheesh, it's all Greek to me. Got this boy speaking Spanish. Ay, papi. Baby, I don't need you. I just wanna freak you. I heard you a freak too. What's 2 plus 2? 4, 3, 2. Make a girl go crazy. 3, 2. Make a girl go crazy. I like big boys, itty bitty boys, Mississippi boys, and the city boys. I like the pretty boys with the bow tie. Get your nails did, let it blow dry. I like a big beard, I like a clean face. I don't discriminate, come and get a taste. From the playboys to the gay boys. Go and slay boys, you my fave boys. Baby, I don't need you. I don't need. I just wanna freak you. I want it. I heard you a freak too. That's right. What's 2 plus 2?